So this time last year, vibe coding was becoming quite a big thing, and Pieter Levels, maybe some of you have heard of him, sort of like announced this vibe coding game contest where he gave $10,000 to the person who could make the best vibe coded web game in, I think it was about 1 week. Now, while I never actually entered that contest, I did make my own game around that time because I wanted to just have a go at vibe coding and see how much I could do without writing any code. So here's the game which I made. It's pretty simple. The basic concept is you have this car and you have to drive it on this motorway. You get £100 for every mile which you cover, and there's also obstacles which, if you hit, like I just hit that sheep there, then I'll lose £50. And once you start earning money in this game, you can spend it on an in-game shop where you can buy upgrades to make your car sort of go faster, things like that. So, you know, it's pretty simple concept, but the game does have some nice features. For example, the car has working indicators, also has hazard lights and headlights too. And I've also added a full sort of nighttime, daytime cycle in this game, which I think is pretty cool. So it's a pretty basic game, but recently Pieter Levels has just announced that he's running a second version of this vibe coding game contest. This time the prize is $25,000 for first place, and you have a whole month in which to make your game. So I thought, why not have a go at making the exact same game 1 year on, just to see how much I can improve it by. Now, in theory, I should be able to improve this game by a fair margin because the models are so much better now than they were last year. I think I probably built the old game with GTP 4 or something like that. And recently Opus 4.7 has just landed. Also, there's so many more tools out there to help you with making games. And finally, I've got an extra year of experience actually using these tools. I just started vibe coding last year, but now I use Claude Code every day in both my job and for personal things too. So I should know how to get more out of these tools. So without further ado, let's get started on improving this game. So the first thing I'm going to work on is just improving the look and feel of the car. So in the old game, you can see the car is very basic. It's pretty poor actually. But I'm going to try and make the new one look like a real life car. And I'm going to base it off the car which I own, which is a Volvo V50. Fantastic car. Does like 70 mpg on the motorway if you're careful. And it'd be quite cool if I could drive my real life car in this game. So my plan here is to find some images of the car, give those to a model, and hopefully I'll get a 3D asset out of it. Now for that I'm going to be using Replicate. If you haven't used Replicate in the past, you haven't heard of it, it's sort of like a marketplace where you have access to thousands of different models, and it's a pay as you go system. So this is the model I'm going to use. I have actually used this a few times in the past. And I fed my images into it, and this is the model I got out of it. I don't think it looks that good actually. I was hoping for something a little bit better, but it is passable. You can tell that it is a Volvo V50. So I also had a go at using some other models on Replicate, and the outputs were pretty similar, if not worse actually. Then had a go at using a tool called Meshy, which I'd heard some people mention. And I was actually really impressed. It only lets you give one image, but this was the model which it came up with, which I think looks great, really. The only downside is that if I want to use this model, because it was built with Meshy 6, I need to upgrade my account. I also had a go at using Meshy 5, which is their older model, and you can see that the output wasn't nearly as good. So I don't want to upgrade my account just yet. So I think what I'm going to do is use that first model which I made from Replicate, and then maybe I'll look to upgrade it to the Meshy version a little bit later. I also made some other assets which I'm going to use in the games. I've got a tree, a farmhouse, a tractor, and a combine harvester, and a sheep too. So now that I've got some assets that I can start with, I'm going to have a go at actually building the game. I'm going to be using Claude Code for that. Okay, so now that I have those 3D assets, I'm ready to start making this game. I've installed a Claude skill, which is called FreeJS Builder, which should help when working with FreeJS, which is the library I'm going to use when building this game. It's the same library that I used on the old game. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into plan mode with Claude and insert this starter prompt. Now, when working on a big piece of work with Claude, I'm always unsure how to do it, because if I make the task a bit too big, it probably won't do that well. So what I want is for Claude to give me a good starting point that I can then start to iterate on.
5 minutes later.
Okay, this is interesting. Claude has almost finished with the plan, but it's asking me some questions first, and one of which is asking which model of the Volvo V50 should the physics be based on. Because in the initial prompt I said I want the car physics to match my real life car as close as possible. So personally I think this is a really good sign that it's going into this much detail. So I'm happy with my answers. I'm going to submit those and then it should finalise the plan. Okay, so after quite a lot of thinking, around 9 minutes, Claude has given me this plan. I've had a read through it. Everything looks good, I think. So I'm going to just approve that and wait and see what the first iteration looks like.
A few moments later.
Okay, so that first prompt has finished running now, and this is what the game looks like. I'm actually pretty impressed so far. Obviously, there's things which are wrong, like the cars facing backwards and the crash barriers aren't right, and the street lamps too. But those should be very quick fixes, hopefully. But yeah, all the fundamentals are there. I could drive the car. It feels right. It feels how a car should. It's not feeling too arcade-like, which is good because I specified that. And I've also just noticed the speedo in the bottom left is moving up and down like in a real car, which is great. That's something which I couldn't do with the first game. And I'm also pleased to see that those models that I made using Replicate are working. So even though I've just run one prompt, it's almost on par with that first game. It's a really good starting point that I can move forward with and start to iterate on. After fixing those initial bugs with the first iteration, I then spent the next few hours adding extra features, starting with more varied landscape. Then I added more trees, signposts. I also made the road curve at certain points, so it wasn't always dead straight. And then finally, I added AI cars. Okay, so I've been working on the game for about 1 day now. I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. But I've come across my first real problem, and you probably noticed it from looking at the videos of the game, but it is very dark. And you know, even if it's 12 o'clock in the actual game, everything's still very dark. And I think the reason for that is because the 3D assets which I'm using, which I built using that model on Replicate earlier, they have shadows built into the actual textures, and you can see that clearly here. This tree has one side which is very light and one side which is very dark. Even if I move this light source round so it's shining on that dark part of the tree, it hasn't changed, which is a bit of an issue because really you want 3D assets to have even lighting, so that you can then add your own light sources, and kind of change how it looks. So I've got a couple of options to fix this. The first would be I can maybe try and make new textures for it, but I've never made textures in the past, so I might have quite a steep learning curve. Now the other option, which is probably the option I'm gonna choose, is to use like a different model to see if the assets I can get out of that will have even lighting. I also mentioned Meshy earlier in this video. I might try out that, because I think when I was looking, the assets which I looked at there seem to have even lighting. But either way, I need to fix this because lighting can have quite a big impact on how a game looks and feels. So I think if I can get this right, it should make it look, 100 times better.
Day 2.
So fast forward a little bit in time, and I did indeed use Meshy to make some new models. I upgraded onto their paid plan. It was like £4.50 for the first month. Normally it's £16, but it was 70% off. I think that's fine. Really, £4.50 isn't life-changing money. But yeah, very happy with the models I was able to get out of Meshy, and it did indeed fix that issue I had with the lighting. So how it works is you upload your image and you get a normal mesh out of it, and then you can add your textures on top of that mesh. And when you do add textures, there is the option to then remove lighting, which is exactly what I needed. So you can see here it's just one of the trees which I'm using. It has nice even lighting on every surface. So I made new models for all of the trees, all of the cars, and yeah, it just came out so much better. So if you look at the game here, the lighting has massively improved and actually looks good through the whole daytime, evening, nighttime cycle. Also, one other thing which I did was I also made a new model for the street lamps. And once I'd done that, I opened up the model in Blender and marked out on the model where the light source should be. Because if you look here, the whole street lamp was lighting up, whereas I wanted to just mark out where the light source should be. And once I'd done that, I was able to ask Claude to just emit light from that area. And that worked really well. And as you can see, it looks much better. So that kind of feels like a good point to leave this game. Obviously, I'm going to keep working on it. But just for the sake of this video, I think this is a good stopping point. So the whole point of this video was to just see how much better I could make this game from last year's game. And you can see here I put them side by side and it's like night and day. In fact, I was really sort of staggered with how much I could achieve this time round. And I've kind of got two real thoughts on it. The first is that the models have improved like a lot between now and last year. For the whole of this game, I use Claude Opus 4.7. And anytime I asked it to add a new feature, it pretty much got it right first try. Or even if it wasn't 100% right first try, I was able to very easily fix those issues with one or two extra prompts. Whereas when I was making the old game, I'm not sure what model I was using, but it often wouldn't get things right first try, and then if you were to try to fix those issues, sometimes it would just go completely off track. And the consensus around the time was if that happened, the best thing you can do is just start again. So first of all, that's been a massive improvement. Secondly is, yeah, there's so many tools out there now which you can use to make 3D models. And you can make these really easily. Just you can just make them from a single image. You don't have to have any like experience. And that's been a massive game changer, I think, because previously you'd have to hire someone. But now me, as a solo dev, I can just think of an idea for a game and just make the whole thing from start to finish. And I don't really need any help for that. So I'm actually really excited for the future of games. I think it's going to be pretty cool. But anyway, that wraps up this video. If you did make it this far, thank you. Please do leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, thanks again for watching. See you in the next one.